enlightening interwebs. Who am I? Oh, you were scared. You thought it was the Court of Owls invading. Possibly invading Stark Tower. It could happen. You know, millionaire, superhero, they get confused easily and they go, oh crap, this is the wrong guy. No, it is only I, Sebastian from Famous Faces and Funnies and GonnaGeek.com, and this is F3G2. Messier side of the back of Famous Faces and Funnies and get your fun on, because there are movings and shakings going on. There are rumblings, so you may get some interesting backgrounds for the next few shows. I don't know what to tell you. Really, there's 4 of you, so deal with it. The 4 of you that are watching have suffered through worse with us. All right, so let's get on with these reviews, because I'm in entirely too many shirts and I may die of heat asphyxiation.
That's good TV.
It'll be the best show ever. Amazing Spider-Man #1. Ooh, so big because it's got so much stuff. It's good but not great, and not as a flaw to the story, the art, or anything. It's not great just because of the execution. For this giant story, yeah, half of it is, you've got the entire issue of Inhuman #1 back there. All right, so there you go. Because they figure everyone in the world was going to read Spider-Man, so now they have no choice but to read. Hey, for free, I'll read. Read Inhuman. It's not really free. The thing's for $5.99. This is like, right? This is $5.99. This is a $6 book, and for $6, I want one gigantic celebrate Spider-Man story. We got a bunch of really good stories, but it was like going to a sampling, like a taste test for some really good food, and they give you like, wow, that was really good. Can I have? No, there's no more. What's this? Oh, that's really good. You haven't eaten? No, there's no. Oh, this is really good. So it wasn't really an issue. You've got the setup. You've got some great stuff going on between Peter and Anna Maria, the Peter Parker's girlfriend, who used to be Doc Ock's girlfriend, but didn't know she was Doc Ock's girlfriend. So now that Peter's back, she's just thinking, wow, you're acting a little weird, but you're still the man I love. So he's got some complications there. More than we dared to expect, because yeah, there's some really cool events with her in this issue. Then you've got Electro trying to live down you got a lot of people that are pissed at Peter for what Doc did. So you've got Electro, who's even more pissed at Spider-Man ever because he's pissed at the Doc Ock Spider-Man. But, Peter's going to have to suffer the consequences. You got a Black Cat story. She's really pissed. You've got a very cute little, Chris Eliopoulos artwork story. You've got Peter David's Spider-Man 2099, because Peter David, the creator of Spider-Man 2099, is going to be writing the Spider-Man 2099 story that has Spidey 2099 stuck in the modern day. So you get that. Everything in here is good, but there's not enough of anything. I'd rather you just gave me one great than a bunch of these, one long, really good instead of a bunch of little greats. It wasn't enough, is its only flaw. Batman Eternal #4, still good. We've got, spoiler, and she gets a little more of an origin. Mostly the same, a slight but important twist to part of her family situation. Dustin Nguyen draws it, and it's there are moments that I was just kind of giggling at, because there are moments when you could still see the Batman Little Gotham style sneaking through, and that just made me really happy. There's a couple of bats, and a bunch of Babs, especially out of costume Babs, because she's at the trial of her dad. She's not taking it well. Still really good. This is going to be a good weekly. I'm dying to see all of that. Serenity now. Literally, that's what it is. It's Serenity now, because it takes place after the series, after the movie, and it's what's going on with them now. And it's good, and the artwork is good, and you can take Zoe from her baby. You can take Zoe from the crew. You can put Zoe on a special prison planet that's surrounded by not bars, but a giant desert planet that nothing will ever grow on. but you can't take the kick-ass out of Zoe. That girl, she's serious. It's so good. I love this show, and I miss it. And this comic, it's good, too good, because it makes me miss it even more. Rachel Rising, I so want this to be a TV show. Every now and then this talks, and then the guy goes, whoa. But this would be great because this has the creepiest kid in the world. Another Zoe. So we went from kick-ass Zoe to creepy-ass Zoe. It's great. The art is gorgeous. The story is brilliant. And the creepiest kid in the world. This is like awesome supernatural mystery with really great character. I mean, every story has character moments, whatever, but this is really the definition of character driven. Is everything that Terry Moore does, and it's wonderful. Ghostbusters Mass Hysteria Part 3. The return of Louis Tully and his cousin, who, just because I love Dan Schoening. Dan Schoening's artwork is awesome. So, let's see. Is there a bigger picture that'll point it out more? Really, any of these. So here, I'll just give you this page. Here you go, Magic Hands. Show them that the artists have designated that Louis Tully's cousin, who comes to pick him up, would clearly be played by Eugene Levy, because that's just who they draw for. There's Louis and his cousin. And it's clearly Eugene Levy driving the car. And that's just perfect. You know, that's just brilliant movie casting in a comic. You know, you can't beat that. Blackout #2. I love this book. I had forgotten I'd ordered it when I got the first one. This is a guy, he finds a suit that lets him open these little black holes that set he can walk in between dimensions, so he sees everything, but it's super cold and the suit keeps him insulated. But things go from bad to worse. He's just figuring out how to use the powers. He's just figuring out how to use the suit. He notices there's a light on his hand. He's like, oh, that's weird, I didn't notice that before. Later, when he's in the in-between dimension, the light turns red, and he goes, oh shit, does that mean what I think it means? And he's stuck there. The battery's died in his suit, and he's in between dimensions, and he's stuck in there. Whoa. And I'm going to have to wait till next issue to find out how that goes. So that's, you know, oops. Let's forget getting a Nova helmet and trying to work out the kinks on that. This guy he's like, oh shit, and if the suit runs out of power, it's the only thing keeping me warm, I'm going to freeze to death in the dark. And then the panels go black, and it is the end of the book. So that's awesome. Flash Annual #3. I forgot to look at some Flash comics before we started because I was going to. I had a plan, which was just one thing that I was minorly curious about. First off, part of this is drawn by Ron Frenz, so I was very happy. Part of this is drawn by Brett Booth, so I was kind of meh. But it's written by Robert Venditti and Van Jensen, and let me say, next to Superman, I think Flash has gotten the shaft in the New 52. I don't like Superman at all. Flash I just haven't cared about in the New 52 at all. So whereas the new Superman, New 52 Superman, most of the time, in his own books anyway, in Action and in Superman, it's just been bad. This has just been meh, so I haven't even cared. The Flash Rogues, however, have been awesome, but this particular issue changes. I gave a crap about the Flash, so thank you, Robert and Van. We've got Barry, we've got Wally, the new Wally, so deal with it. It's a lot easier to take change when Ron Frenz draws change, because I like Ron Frenz. I'm easy. Just placate me, get Ron Frenz on something. What I was curious about is Iris is in this issue, and somebody I always thought Iris had red hair, and suddenly Iris has got dark hair and a slightly darkened complexion. So I knew they were making Wally, but apparently no one noticed. Just Barry turned around and Iris got darker Iris, which is weird because she's still got blue irises. So she's a darker Iris with light irises. That's an Iris thing. It's an eye thing. Wally, I like him. I mean, I've always gone either way on Flash anyway, so I'm not going to be as upset by the major changes. I didn't like the future Flash story because it cuts back and forth between now, where current Barry is meeting Wally for the first time, whereas future Barry has already seen Wally die, blames himself, and is going back to fix it by, I think his plan is to kill himself. So Barry's going to go kill Barry so that Wally can live. And I think this is why the all-new X-Men in Marvel can't get home. Because Barry has the time-space continuum so much that it's affecting the Marvel universe. It's whatever.
Did he learn nothing from Flashpoint?
He didn't. Remember, they don't remember Flashpoint happened. So
Good point.
There is a mention of Eobard Thrawn in here, but there is a reason why they have to do that Future's End in the DCU. Because in the possible future, where future Barry has seen possible future Wally die, future Grodd is eating the brain of even more future Eobard Thrawn, because future Grodd can run through time. I don't like Grodd with the Speed Force. That's one of the things. Grodd's supposed to have mental powers, gorilla, not super speed gorilla. That's just silly. And believe me, I know silly.
You ride silly.
Yeah, I ride silly all the time, but there are limits. So it's better than Flash has been. I'm okay with the new Wally. Sorry, giant internet storm of generations for whom Wally was their Flash. But hey, you know what? I'm a Ted Kord fan, so you really can't bitch to me about your characters getting fucked over, because I'm a Ted Kord fan. Suck it. All new X-Men. Really, really good. Touching yet creepy moment between modern Cyclops and young Jean, made comical, reassuring, and somehow creepier all at the same time by the fact that Kitty Pryde, unbeknownst to either of them, is hanging outside the doorway, keeping an eye on them because she doesn't trust Cyclops alone in a room with prepubescent with like 14-year-old Jean Grey. so that was cool. Somebody messes with X-23. Bobby's an idiot no matter which Bobby you're working with. And Angel's just a nice guy. It's good. I'm loving Bendis X-Men. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Deadly Class. Acid Trip. Also, Acid Trippy is when they announced that they're the class of 91, and I realized, my God, that means the Deadly Class is only 1 year older than I am. Or actually 1 year younger than me, right? Because, yeah, I graduated in 90. So, the class of 91, I'm a year older than these crazy psycho kids who take an unauthorized field trip to Vegas to kill one of them has a dad that's a dick, and they're going to go kill him. And
sure, why not?
Along the way, like you do when you go into Vegas, they stop at a Grateful Dead concert, and the one kid, our main character, is like, you know, you want to go to a Grateful Dead concert? That can't be right. You're too cool for the Grateful Dead. I hate the Grateful Dead. She goes, oh, no, I don't want to see the damn music. We're going to buy some acid. So there's a bunch of kids going to like a secret private assassin ninja school who sneak out and do acid. As you can imagine, it doesn't end well, and most of the story is told in flashback that doesn't resolve at the end. We got to wait for the next issue to find out. But the current time storyline that what do you call it, that sets it all up, it basically involves our cast being interviewed by police. So you know it's not going to go so smoothly. Disney Kingdoms, Seekers of the Weird, number 4, 1 issue left. All right, Carl Molina on art. Oh yeah, Carl will be here in a couple of days doing Free Comic Book Day, signing and sketching. Woohoo! You can get him to sign some weird, but probably you'll get him to draw Buffy with an axe. It seems to be his lot in life. This is really, really good. Building to its head. You've got people writing living furniture versus killer plants in a you've got the biggest faked out double cross that turns against him when the people he was faking double crossing refused to believe he was fake double crossing. So his brilliant plan to save the world is screwed up by the people thought he was saving it with, because their uncle is clever, but sometimes too clever for everyone around him. It's just really good and a lot of fun. If you haven't been reading this, pick it up or get the trade. It'll make a great once through. Egos is trippy. It's a dystopian future super book where a new team is being put together with mostly clones of one of the members of the team and a whole bunch of noobs who have powers and are not at all good at using them, and they find this other dimension run by like ghost snakes, and it's just
Did you say ghost
yeah,
snakes?
they're like snake energy thing, and it's they exist in the world between dimensions, and they call themselves the something, not Serpent Society, but something along. Welcome to the Reptile Order. The Reptile Order sounds like a bad Euro band, which is true. It does. So it is self-aware, this book. It's good. It's a lot of fun. I've been digging it. Hulk, number 2. Abomination. So good. Mark Waid is just kicking ass on this. Robert Bruce Banner, currently going by Bobby, and living with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, elderly, placed in a town laced with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, because if you've got if Bruce Banner took a bullet to the head and has been essentially knocked down to a grade school education, a grade school intelligence level, you don't want anything to piss that guy off. You just don't. So he's in this, but bad guys find him because the DNA that they stole from him, they used to mix it with the leftover goo that was once the Abomination, and they've resurrected the Abomination with a built-in tracking beacon for Hulk DNA that does not have the Abomination. What was his name? Emil Blonsky's not in there. There's nobody home, so it's now just an Abomination equivalent of the thoughtless, mindless Hulk. There is a fight. A town is leveled. Apparently, the one citizen in that town who was not a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent is not happy. He's also, I think, a real estate agent, so that really sucks. And Maria Hill is doing it. Also, it reminded me of everything going on with the Cat movie and the S.H.I.E.L.D. show, because S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been infiltrated, not full on by Hydra, but by people who are after Hulk and Banner stuff, and they don't know how to find them out. So that's what's going on. Loki, Ragnarok and Roll by Eric M. Esquivel, and Jerry Gaylord. This is just awesome. Number 3 of 4. There's one left. This book is just awesome. When I say Loki puts on a killer concert, I mean Loki puts on a killer concert. Like killing gods killer concert. And killing lots of acolytes. The gods send a lot of acolytes after Odin.
So you'd fit right in with that clock.
Things don't go well for anybody. I guess except Loki. Loki's band, great line in here somewhere is one of Loki's band members going, so, did anyone else not know that he was a real, actual god? And, yeah, it's just Loki versus Hercules, Loki versus everybody, Odin versus everybody, and Baron Samedi versus Loki's band. So, what? Yeah, Voodoo Death God versus random. Loki's band, in like a bitch slap contest. So, it happens. Mercy Sparks, number 5. Mercy Sparks Trade Volume 2, under new management, is out, so that's good. This book, first off, the art, it's not Blaylock doing the art, right? It's drawn by Matt Merhoff. The art is beautiful in this book, and it says colors by Greg and Fake. I don't know who Fake is and who Greg is, but it's a very bright palette, but it's really sharp. It makes like the reds and the blues pop beyond anything. And I just really like the look of this book. But this storyline is just great. You know, when you have angels' halos are made from a specific metal. one of these angels is powerless because he doesn't have his halo. Mercy took it. They need this angel now to help them escape, so they have to give him back his halo. But Mercy had his halo melted down and turned into big brass knuckles that says ass backwards, so when she punches people in the face, it says ass on there. They have to give it back, so there's this angel flying around with this big ring that says ass backwards over his head. But he's all sorts powerful once he has it. So you really have to, there's no way I can explain this to you in the time frame we have for this show. You just need to pick up the first 2 trades of Mercy Sparks and check that out for yourself. Batgirl Annual number 2, really good. Really, it's a nice character moment because there's a lot of bad events going on right now, and it was nice to just have it drop back. And it was, you get some Black Canary. You even get a little bit of the original. There's a flashback to like the original New 52 lineup of Birds of Prey, but mostly it's Batgirl and Poison Ivy, who, while Gale doesn't go so far as to make Poison Ivy an out hero, she does play up the blurred lines of, vigilante, anti-hero. She'll do bad things, but there are reasons, and we get a little more origin than I personally ever knew. It may be a rehash of something, or it may just be all Gale. I don't know. I'm not the foremost Poison Ivy scholar out there, but we get a little more insight than I've ever had to Poison Ivy's personal background, not her origin, but her actual, Pamela Isley backdrop, and it was really, really good. A lot of great moments, and just a good story that has the closest to a feel-good ending you're going to get in the Bat comic end of the DC universe. Silver Surfer number 2, Dan Slott, Mike Allred, and Laura Allred. So good. I'm not necessarily a Silver Surfer fan, and until Superior Spider-Man, I wasn't necessarily a Dan Slott fan. But in this book combined, I am a fan of both. I mean, I knew I was a fan of Mike Allred and Laura Allred, so I was in for that alone. And like I said, Slott's been wowing me with Spidey lately. But this is it's very cosmic, part trippy, part Jack Kirby, and then a great blend of cosmic Kirby trippy, which makes sense anyway.
Surfer.
And yeah, it's just really good, because really, I mean, it's all that like old school peak of his cosmic Kirby feel, and it's really, there are new characters and new concepts that you wouldn't be surprised at all to be having coming out of that day. So it just works. It's really well done. Rye is a really pretty book, but I don't think I care about Rye. So my review may be tainted. I read it. It wasn't bad. It was a good story. But I don't know what the but is. There's a but I don't know what it is. It just didn't move me. I don't feel the rye. I'm more of a pumpernickel. Sourdough. Yeah, rye left me with a sourdough feeling. No, it didn't. It was good. It just I didn't care. Dream Police surprised me by making me like it a lot. It's JMS. It's J. Michael Straczynski, Sid Cardian, Bill Farmer. Basically, it's the best way to describe this. This is Dragnet, almost literally. In Dragnet meets Inception. There are police,
freaky,
including a guy who, he starts out with, this is the dreamscape. 100 million dreamers come here every hour. Some come to relive their past, others imagine their future, but everyone comes expecting to have a good time according to the rules set down when the dreamscape was created. When that doesn't happen, when something goes wrong, I go to work. I carry a badge. See? Dragnet. My name's Joe Thursday. Dragnet.
Really?
Lieutenant Detective. Dream Police. My partner's Frank Stafford.
Yeah.
You get that Dragnet vibe. But then it gets really cool from there, and it was great to use. I mean, it's a dreamscape, so everything, they exist within the dreaming. If the Sandman had a private police force, this would be they. They're a bunch of cute little, not like, in the dreamscape, they go to a diner, and the diner is one of those jukeboxes. All of the songs, Dream Lover, Dream a Little Dream of Me, American Dream, California Dreamin', Dream On, In a Broken Dream, Dreamin' Again, Your Wildest Dreams.
So wrong.
It's all just dream songs.
Does it actually have Dream Police on there?
It does not have the Dream Police on there. That would have been a little too on the nose, I think. And JMS probably doesn't know that song. But there's just some great stuff, and it gets really good. And then at the end, you start the build of what's going on, as there's something up with we don't know how these guys got there, how long they've been there, who they work for as Dream Police. Apparently they don't wake up and go back to everyday real worlds. They are within the dream, but they're not facets of the dream like so many other things. And there's a neat little what the hell just happened there towards the end. So it's good. It's good. V Wars is number one. Didn't get me much. It's zombie apocalypse with vampires. It's a vampire apocalypse. That sort of can't decide if it wants to be outright vampire apocalypse or part political thriller or part any of those, like Anita Blake worlds or what's that show on HBO about those books? True Blood. Those kind of where they're apparently the vampires can sort of be mindless monsters, but they're also just people searching for rights. But then somebody kills an American politician whose job is to who's wants to be at the forefront of vampire rights, and they frame the vampire. It's all complicated, but not complicated enough to be the good complicated. It just seems like it
struggling.
It wants to be. It wants to be a blend of these multiple genres, but instead it seems like it can't decide which of these genres it falls into. And it could it's just issue 1. It could pick up from here, but for me, it just seemed like it didn't know what it wanted to be, and therefore wasn't realizing being any of those. Batman versus Bane one shot. I don't know why the hell I took that. It doesn't matter. It's after Forever Evil, so it doesn't spoil anything unless you count spoiling being Batman saying that they beat the Syndicate. So apparently they win eventually, and then Batman fights Bane in what just seems rather unnecessary once you've taken on the entire crime syndicate. Trades. We've got Absolution Volume 2. Alright, this was so damn good. Alright, this collects the Absolution Rubicon 1 through 5 and Absolution Happy Kitty Special by Christos Gage, who I love. This book is so good. It was a superhero who was tired of villains just getting in and out, so he goes vigilante. He's been killing people. But now a politician trying to make a name for himself by taking this guy down makes a deal with the biggest bad that they caught at the end of the first book, and he thinks that he's going to, he seems to think this guy's going to play by the rules that they set for their, and then when that doesn't work and millions of people start, there are a lot of people ending up dead, a lot of, he's like, you just assassinated the mayor of New York. Yes, a man responsible for the violent deaths of hundreds of his constituents. So it's not the best plan to be a mayor and then get most of the people who could vote for you and did vote for you killed. But this book is so good. So good. And ending it off, they're only $9.99 Images, Pretty Deadly by Mary Sue DeConnick and Emma Rios. I love Emma Rios. And me amo Emma Rios. And Kelly Sue DeConnick has grown on me a lot lately. So this, I've been liking it, but I kept saying when I didn't read these individually, I kept saying, I don't know, this book is smarter than me. I'm not getting it. I hope it makes more sense in a trade form. So I bought the trade, and guess what? It makes so much more sense now. Turns out, I am an idiot. Not really news, but I'll put that out there. And this is so good.
You realize you have a problem, and that's part of the solution.
Death came for a woman and fell in love with this woman, and the woman gave Death a child, and that child is Ginny, one of the characters we come along in here. And there's a lot going on, and Ginny is a big part, and there are people out to use Ginny for their own ends, and there are people out to prevent that. And it's really good. Warren Ellis said grand and majestic storytelling, and that's Warren Ellis, so you can take that to the bank. And that's that. Me and a break of columns bid you adieu.